The Atlanta Falcons have one of the best offensive playbooks in all of Madden 26, and we're going to be taking a look at it in this breakdown. Now, what we're looking at in this is we're going to be taking a look specifically at one of the formations that we didn't cover last time we talked about this. Now, that being said, I'm just going to go real quick with my audibles out of this playbook and just show you a couple of things. So, first and foremost, they do have this wing tight Z. This is a good red zone type formation. Reason being is because they have the 26 duo, the halfback dive, the smash. Those are good runs, and you have that here. You also have the wing pair with the halfback stretch, the halfback dive, the 26 duo, and then tight end attack if you want to pass. So you have some really, really nice red zone type formations. You also, in the Atlanta Falcons playbook, have the combination of the single back tight Y off and the single back tight Y off flex. So you see here for the tight Y off, I have fake stretch, fake cheat halfback stretch, or cheat halfback dive, PA cheat cross, and then PA post dig for just a basic passing play. And then in the tight Y off flex, I have a really good run scheme here with the wide zone, the 0-1 trap, under Z curl, and jet sweep. Now, in our last breakdown of this playbook, we talked a little bit about the bunch style formations, as they are some of the best formations in the game. And you still have those formations, but you also have the one of the best U trips formations in Madden 26, which, if you don't know what U trips is, it's this Y off trips close formation. And this Y off trips close formation used to be called U trips, and then it was Pat's Y off trips, and now it's Y off trips close. This changes every year, but the formation is so powerful. Now, the reason that I wanted to give this video kind of an individualized breakdown is because when you run this offense, you're not really going to be audibling around a ton. And the reason why is because when I try to audible from this formation to bunch, you're going to see that those outside receivers are going to flip, making this a little bit less effective, in my opinion, just as far as the audibling around goes, because it takes a while for the audible to actually occur. Really, the main audible that I would actually recommend if you're going to be audibling from this Y off trips would be to audible into these tight Y off formations because they are closer together. So I'll just come out of the play and I'll show you some audibles as well within this. First and foremost, like I said, audible into like a compression set, because you're going to see here that this actually can occur rather quickly, and then we can, put our hot routes on the field and go, right? We can do that easily here. You also have a lot of good tight plays, in my opinion. And then if you wanted to, when you audible from tight, then you could justify, I think, an audible into like a bunch type of set. Okay, that's just my opinion, but I think the audible takes a little bit too long, and most people that run U trips over the years, they kind of run exclusively U trips, at least up and down the field, and then they get into their passing plays or into their red zone plays. The other thing about this formation is you do have these audible down runs that I was talking about. So if I wanted to audible down, I could audible over here to the single back tight Y off. And you'll see, because that's a compressed look, this audible is going to occur relatively quickly, and we're going to be able to get into kind of our under center run based offense. Now, one of the other things that you have in this formation is you actually have some crazy cool running plays and kind of a mini scheme here out of the pistol. If you guys don't know, the pistol here, we have the pistol bunch tight end. This has been one of the best pistol formations in Madden for the last probably 10 years. And the reason why is because it has really good run plays. You have the speed option, you have halfback zone, you have verticals, which is a great pass play. And then really you have a decision if you wanted to run another pass play, you have spot Y option. You could also justify putting this halfback counter in, or even the strong power based on how you want to run your offense. Personally, I love having the strong power, the zone, and the counter in this little playbook here. The reason being is just because I think it's pretty effective, just in terms of the runs that you have out of this. I'll show you them real quick here. So if I audible over to the pistol bunch tight end, you'll see this is also relatively quick. All the wide receivers go to one side. Like, this is relatively okay, and you're going to be able to run, your runs. I think the runs out of this pistol bunch tight end are really, really good. The other thing that I like about this is generally when you run a U trips offense, you're going to pretty much 99.9% of the time be calling this with your trips to the wide side of the field. And that's great because when you go to the pistol bunch tight end, if you want to pass out of pistol bunch tight end, it's really best to run these passing plays with your bunch to the short side of the field, right? And the reason being is because we have this play verticals with a seam wheel, and then we can run a combo like this. And this is going to break down a cover four coverage relatively pretty effectively, as you see that little wheel route gets into a soft spot against the defense. So I like to pass from pistol bunch tight end, even though normally in bunch you want to be in wide side. The pistol bunch tight end specifically, it makes a lot of sense to pass out of this formation to the short side. And the other thing is here, we can run fairly basic combos that are going to be effective. For example, just a simple speed out and a whip route on the left side, really combined with whatever you want to do on the right hand side. So if you wanted to run just a drag and an in route, that's perfectly fine as well. But you're going to see that this little whip gets into a soft spot of the coverage, and we're going to be able to easily be able to hit that route. Now, that being said, I did want to just cover real quick some of the other formations in this. So, for example, we do have this tight Y off, and this tight Y off is kind of a hidden bunch type of look. So let me just show you what that would look like. I'll show you the audibles first. So the audibles for this are motion mesh spot, motion slot choice, motion Y corner, and then I put a 0-1 trap here just in case I ever want to just audible into a run play. And like I said, it is a hidden formation. So what's going to happen is when I audible to that from the U-trips formation, you're going to see here that this is also going to be relatively a quick audible because it is a hidden formation and they're a little bit different in terms of where the players are actually going to go, which is a huge deal in my opinion, because it's going to make this formation a lot more runnable than other formations that in this playbook. And you have a lot of good stuff out of this. You have something like this that is really good out of that motion slot choice. You have motion Y corner that has a tight end corner route with a little speed out. What I like to do with this is just take this receiver and put him on a streak or a slot fade, and you can pretty much snap this ball as is. I mean, this is just a good money play right here. This post gets into a real soft spot of the coverage. So, anyways, I just wanted to break down real quick that I like this audible the most out of any audible because you're going to see like this happens relatively quickly, and then we can kind of build, there's so many hot routes and so many ways to build plays this year that you can build some of the best plays in the game just with your hot routes, which obviously makes this a little bit more of a usable formation. So those are some of my favorite plays. A lot of people are going to run cover two to this left side. One of the easiest ways to manipulate a cover two in this game is to go to like the motion mesh spot. You're going to streak that triangle receiver. It's really all you need to do, and you're just going to snap this ball real quick. And what you're going to see is that this auto motion kind of glitchy fade route is going to do a really good job of attacking cover two on that left-hand side consistently. So anyway, that is, as far as audibling around, that is probably my favorite audible. The other one we talked a little bit about is the tight Y flex. This formation is a really, really good formation to run if you're getting a lot of man coverage. Literally, just call the play PA post shot. That's all you got to do. And one of these crossing routes is going to win consistently against man-to-man. Now, if you're enjoying this video, I think you're going to really enjoy our school community. If you're not a member of the school community yet, it's only $10 that gets you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks for both college football and Madden. So if you want to sign up for that, that link is going to be down in the description below. Now I wanted to get into kind of the bread and butter of this offense, and specifically this Y-off trips close. Now, first and foremost, before we do that, I do want to take a quick peek here at the Bills depth chart and just talk to you a little bit about where to put fast receivers. As you see, our fastest receiver here is this guy Moore. This guy Hamler's technically faster, but Moore's a better overall player. And so what we want to do with this specific receiver is we're actually going to put him at the number 2 receiver position, and then we're going to go in our depth chart down here to the slot receiver position, and that is where we want to put him. We want our fastest receiver in the slot because it's going to help us bomb specific coverages within the defense. Okay, now our base play and really one of my favorite plays that I've been dying to show you is going to be this Y option wheel. This play is really good because it beats a lot of coverages and you can snap the ball really quickly. If you didn't know, if you stem your routes, it does not count as a hot route in this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stem this tight end all the way up. It's going to basically turn him into a streak. And then I'm going to drag the slot receiver and I'm going to snap the ball as quick as possible. What this does is it creates a high-low read over the middle of the field that is very difficult to switch stick. And also, again, it's going to be a quick snappable play. So we can get to this really quickly. The main read, honestly, is this drag route over the middle of the field. And it's going to hold the user, it's going to hold the yellows down. And when the yellows start to play underneath, maybe they put their hooks on 5 or something like that, then what you're going to see is that deep post is going to get over the top. Now, I don't know what happened in practice mode with the Lions defensive tackles here, but they are going berserk. Let me actually just show you. If we have a little bit of time in the pocket, we're going to be able to throw this post once he kind of clears the yellow zones. So again here, and a little bit of it is user dependent. If the user really bites down, it's going to be even easier. But as you see, that post is going to be open over on that left-hand side or on the right-hand side. So the other thing about this play is, and this is why U-Trips I think is so powerful, U-Trips does a really good job, even though it's a spread formation, of consistently attacking man coverage. You're going to see right here that post, that little short post, is going to do a really good job of being able to attack man coverage on that left-hand side. So that's another reason why I love this play. Another setup of this play that I think is really, really good is a tight end corner. So all you're going to do is you're going to put your tight end in the corner and you're going to snap the ball quickly. You'll see that this tight end corner, for the most part, is going to do a pretty good job of being able to attack man coverage. And you're essentially on this play going to read the user. If the user runs to the right, you're going to throw the left. So here you see kind of that middle linebacker right on the right. And we're just going to come backside and we're going to hit that post in that little window. So this is a very good, very quick, snappable type of play that I think is really good. Now I'm going to show you a different version of this play that I think is going to be really good this year with some of the new hot routes. One of the routes that U-Trips hasn't had that I think would have made it a really good offense over the years is a return route. But in Madden 26, you're able to create a return route within your hot routes. So what I like to do out of this play is we're just going to drag our tight end. We're going to return route our slot. And then if you want to, you can block your running back or leave him in the pattern. And you're going to see here that this little return route is going to cut over the middle, kind of right in the perfect spot to really put the user in a lot of conflict if they're trying to guard this play out of really any cover 4 type of shell. You're going to see, watch the yellow on the right side. He really gets held by that return route, and then that leaves that post open for business on that right hand side. So this really does a good job of manipulating one of the best coverages in the game. The other thing about this play is that the running back, we'll say they're playing hard flats. This running back wheel route is a little unique, and what you're going to see is he's going to cut up field quickly. He's going to also pull flat zones really quickly, and this throw right here, I know it doesn't look like much, but that throw right there is so important in this game to be able to hit this tight end in this little pocket right here quick is really, really good. As you see, if they don't have like a cover 4 hard flat, which a lot of people would do like a cover 2, a lot of people will do a cover 2 on that left side to stop a corner route, which we'll go over in a little bit. But what you're going to see is this throw right here is just money against that coverage. Now, the other thing that they added into this game that I think is really good is they added a couple new hot routes to the tight end position. And so what we're able to do is we're able to kind of take advantage of that with this corner route on the left side. And I'm going to show you that I'm going to put this guy in a cover 4. And you're going to see here that wheel route is going to clear out space for us to throw this corner route against a cover 3 or a cover 4, especially if they're hard flatting. So you're going to see here, I'm going to run a cover 4 hard flat and watch this seam wheel just clear out space really, really well. And there's this little window that we can throw this corner route. Now, if you wanted to, you could put him on a speed out and stem him up probably 2 times, so he runs at about 15 yards, and you'll see here that this is also a good route that you can throw against that. They're kind of both very similar in that regard. But what the whole purpose of the route is to attack cover 4 and cover 3 coverage on the solo side. And you'll see here that if you throw this consistently, this is going to get them to have to basically do one of 2 things. they're either going to have to put a curl flat defender over there and really trust that that curl flat defender is going to be doing a good job, or they're going to have to play cover two. And so when we can get them into kind of those situations where they have to play cover two consistently, it really helps open up the offense. And one of the other best ways to manipulate this curl flat zone here is we're going to put our outside receiver, our solo receiver here on a flat. And then on the right hand side, really can do whatever you want. I personally really like just a base. I love the drags and the crossing routes this year. If you don't like that, the other thing that you could do is you could put a hitch, you could put a curl, and you could put it out. Just kind of a basic play. I would stem this curl down to create the hitch. But anyway, it looks like this. And now watch the curl flat. So the curl flat's going to get pulled out by the flat, and then that wheel gets into a really nice soft spot against that coverage. So you kind of put a lot of defenders in conflict on the left side, which I think is really, really important because ultimately what we want them to do is we want them to play cover two on this left side. Now, if they do play cover two on the left side, I think one of the best ways to manipulate this is to actually utilize a combo like so. You can do it from a couple different plays here, but we're going to actually do it from option wheel. And you're going to see that when we take this outside or this slot receiver, we can put him on a flat. We can actually hot rod him to a flat. What that does is when he motions, he's going to flip his flat, and you're going to see that we're going to create kind of this massive, massive amount of space to be able to throw this on the left side. Now, what I like to do on the back side of this is really, I just like a streak and a drag. Something very simple, a high-low read. And then the other thing here is against cover two, you're going to see, watch this running back route kind of gets into a really nice alley. And you can actually throw that against pretty much any cover two in the game. So I'm going to show that one more time because we did get shedded here. But you'll see how this flat zone is going to do a really good job of kind of pulling routes. If you wanted to, you could leave the post, by the way. You don't have to streak him. But what I think is really interesting is watch this. Watch that little alleyway right there that we can throw that in. That is such a good place to throw the ball right there. We got kind of a random play there by that outside player. We'll try it one more time. But I just think it's really good that the deep half kind of jumps to this. Okay, our flat. So that right there, we did not hot route the flat. So that's why you want to hot route the flat right there. Because if you don't hot route the flat, then he's going to run back. So you do need to be hot routing this. So anyway, there you go. Hot route a flat. Pulls that guy out. And then you see how this, we can just throw this in this alleyway. And this becomes a really good way to manipulate cover two on that left-hand side. Whenever we start to motion, you're going to notice that that really kills cover two within this offense. Another way that I like to manipulate cover two in this offense is through the use of seam streaks. And we actually have a really, really good route that hardly anyone has talked about this year in this play, empty HB Sluggo. So if you're getting a lot of cover two, really just zone in general, if you're getting a lot of zone, I think this is one of the best plays in the game. And the reason being is because it has kind of a unique streak to the slot receiver over here on the right-hand side. So if I am getting a lot of cover two, I will run this play a ton. And I'm going to run a fairly straightforward setup here. I'm going to streak the solo wide receiver on this left side. I'm going to table route the running back. This is going to help in case they're running cover two sink or anything like that. And then on the right-hand side here, we're just going to put the tight end and kind of just a backside high-low. So like a post and a drag, whatever you want to do. If you want to block somebody, you could do that as well. You could justify that within this. But what I like about this is against cover two, if you motion this guy across, you can snap him about right here. You're going to see that cloud is going to just let him kind of run over the top of him, and it's going to be a big hitter. The cloud flat is honestly going to do the best job of any zone that I've seen because of the fact that we're putting this table route to put flat defenders and soft squats into conflict. The cloud flat is definitely going to be the best zone they can run. But you'll see, like, if I'm just patient on this thing is going to clear, and it's going to get over the top of that cover two consistently. So now what they might do is they might go, okay, I'm going to put a soft squat there so that he's going to match him. And when they do that, you're going to notice that the running back flat, this is the whole point of this being on the play. This is going to kind of pull that soft squat down to him, and then he's going to clear a little bit faster than he does against a cloud flat. Now, if they do want to run like a cover two hard flat, for example, then what you're going to notice with this little auto motion, or not auto motion, with this motion, is that flat really snaps down, and then we're able to hit this in an even better window against that coverage. So this is one of the best plays, in my opinion, at attacking cover two on that left hand side. This also, by the way, is a really good way of attacking cover four and cover three hard flat. Why is it good against cover four and cover three hard flat? Because the hard flats will snap down on the running back. The streak will clear out the two deep blues, and you can throw this in this little pocket right here. So they have to respect a lot of the stuff you're doing on the backside of this as well. The other thing about this is sometimes we'll see if I can actually make this throw. Sometimes this post route can actually be like the perfect, um, it's kind of hard to explain. Like basically, the middle third is going to go to the post in a cover three, and then you could pass this up into the middle, and sometimes you can actually hit that for a cover three one play touchdown. So this is another reason why U trips is best ran on this side of the field, and we'll show this one more time. You don't need the running back for this one. You can block him here, but basically you'll see that streak, and then you have. It's kind of hard to show because you are going to need a little bit of time here. To be honest, the guy on the right is just slightly too far to the outside, unfortunately, to actually show this. But this is something that I've noticed here. You'll see, and again, I just got to get a little bit of time. I'm gonna just to show you the route. We're gonna go a little 7-on-7 here. I should do this more often in these videos. Just spy the D line because practice mode sheds. What's weird in this year's game is sometimes the practice mode sheds are really good, and then honestly sometimes they're terrible. So I don't know exactly what you know makes one thing better. Well, this you can kind of motion this guy out a little bit more here, but what you'll see is that middle third is not going to defend the deep threat, and then you can kind of hit that over the top. It's a super tight window, and I'm not been able to hit it yet, but I'm just telling you this is something to kind of look for against the cover three. If you have a fast receiver over there, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So that's just something small, but you'll see how that middle third's not really. He's kind of freezing. Now the guy is actually playing my user really well there, but it is what it is. So, anyways, that's partially part of the story against cover three. Now I'm gonna show you the rest of the story. So the rest of the story against cover four, cover three, cover two in terms of bombing. A lot of people like to cover two on this right side as well. And this combo is going to be really good for cover three cloud. It's going to be really good for a lot of coverages, but it's really going to be good for like cover three cloud or cover two. And as well as cover four, which kind of hidden one play touchdown against cover four that we'll cover here. But basically, we're just going to fade this outside trips receiver. We're going to curl our solo receiver, and I like to stem him up one time. Block the running back because you are going to need time, and you're going to drag your tight end. So essentially what we have here is this curl drag combo is really designed to hold the user because it is hard to stop this combo. And then on the right hand side, we have a two seam read, which is going to be really good for cover two. So if they do run cover two, which this is wild to me that this works, watch the mid read. I don't have any zone drop set. I don't have any of that stuff set in this. I'm just running the basic coverage of cover two, which has the mid read on it. Mid read looks like he's going to match him, but the curl for some reason is going to distract him. And this is going to be a one play touchdown against cover two. The mid range responsibility is actually to go match that, but he doesn't, even though people, for whatever reason, have wanted to argue with me and tell me that cover two is the greatest coverage ever, and it is better this year, but there's still ways to manipulate cover two for one play touchdowns. And to be quite honest with you, this right here should not be a one play touchdown against cover two. It really just comes down to the fact, as you saw right there on the left side, the mid read completely froze in the middle of the field. It's because the mid read doesn't do his job right. Okay. So, anyways, as you can see right there, we're able to bomb cover two for a one play touchdown. And now I'm going to show you kind of a unique cover three cloud type of deal here. So, if someone is running cover three cloud, it's really designed to try to stop the fade on the right. So, they're going to have a middle third here. They'll have like an outside third over in this area. And then normally, to kind of save us a little bit of an issue here, I'm going to put a soft squat over here. And I'm actually going to just put this guy over here in a spy. The hook curl is going to be more representative of what people are actually going to do, whereas the vert hook is kind of bugged in this year's game right now. So anyway, it looks something like this right here on the right. And what you're going to see is that at the snap of the ball, the outside third is going to really run to the sideline. It's going to leave a window open to hit this backside seam read, and then your curl route can actually kind of hold the middle third for just a second. So you see here, this is actually going to, it's a tight throw. it's a tight throw, and there are better ways to manipulate cover three crowd specifically in this playbook. But I wanted to show you that this actually can beat it. Let me just set the play up as is here. So I'm gonna put a cloud over here. Got the hook curl. Got the curl flat. All right, so we're gonna be good to go. Got a spy. But again, this is a little bit more of a tighter window. It wouldn't be as tight if we put the tight end on like a post, but because he's on a drag, that is part of the issue here. But what you'll see is that throw right there can pop cover three cloud for a touchdown. Depending on how their safeties roll and how fast they are, I've just seen a lot of consistency from this specific route against cover three cloud. Now, what I love about this play, and actually my favorite part about this play, is that it's actually a hidden cover four beater, which is wild to me. This actually can pop cover four. So what I'm going to do to pop cover four here is I'm going to set everything up exactly the same, and I have my curl. Now the curl, for the first example here, I'm going to stem him up one time so it goes a little bit deeper. And this is a super tough throw, but if you can learn how to throw this, this thing can pop cover four. So what I just did, and I'll actually show it in replay, what I just did is I freeformed the pass all the way up into the inside so that I got it away from the quarter on that right side. So what you're going to see here is right about here, he's going to start to pinch in. Now, I'm not worried about this left side quarter because of this curl and drag combination. For whatever reason, the inside quarter feels needed for this curl, okay? So what I need to do is, as you see here, this guy is technically still on top of the route. What I need to do is actually throw this more like a post and kind of get the ball over in this area. If you're able to do that throw, and you are going to need to practice this, but if you're able to hit that throw, this thing will pop a cover four consistently. Now, I want to show you the same play, but this time we're just going to put this guy on a regular curl. We're not going to stem him up, and we'll see if this still does the same effect. And you see there, for the most part, it does, but it doesn't. As you see, there's this little pocket, little spot where the cover four, if you don't have that stemmed up curl, to me, I think it allows that inside quarter just a little bit of time to be able to actually react to this route. Whereas if you have that stemmed up curl, he's going to play that consistently, and then you're going to hit your seam streak over the top of it. Now again, it's really, really important that you have a good free form on this route. If you don't have a good free form on this route, it's not going to be there. And there, cover three. It's actually crazy that I got over a third almost. But anyways, all right, I'm gonna show it to you one more time against the cover four, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the other things you can do. So, but this is to me one of the best plays in U-Trips that I have not seen a lot of people running. As you see there, I mean, he just pops the cover four. He just absolutely pops the cover four right into a soft spot. Now, the big thing with this is you have to throw this route with a timing, but there is a window to hit this over the top. So again, you're kind of looking at that quarter. There I see he gets even, he's leaving, and then I pass lead that up into the inside. And you see we get it into a really good spot, and it could potentially pop cover four. So I love the fact that we have a good cover four and cover three and cover two beater, all kind of built within one play and against popular coverages that people are actually going to run. Now, that being said, I wanted to go over my next version of a good cover three, cover four-ish beater, and it is going to be this play, deep slot curl. So this play is really good because of the seam streak to the tight end. That's really the main route on the play. And we're going to first talk about it against cover three, because you saw that cover three was doing an okay job of defending that seam streak to the slot receiver. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run this version. So the way that I like to run this version is just streak the slot receiver. Pretty much it. I would put a backside drag as a check down read, so it looks like that. And what you're going to see is this tight end seam streak is going to kind of slide in between the 2/3 and can actually get in between a cover three for a 1-play touchdown as well. So this just does a really good job of manipulating any kind of coverage that they might do. Another popular coverage in this game is going to be, basically something like this right here, where we have, a middle third on the trip side now, like this, and then we have a half over in this area. So this is another popular way that people want to play coverage against U-Trips. And this right here is going to do a really good job of attacking that specific that specific defense. You're going to see, watch this tight end seam streak. He kind of gets in the soft spot. I don't know why the yellow Yellow kind of went crazy there. Let me show that one more time. But if they're rolling their coverage like this, you're going to see here that if I'm patient with my seam streak, I should have it for a good gain. Let's see if we can actually block for long enough. But you see right there, there's that little window for the seam streak. And again, that's not a one big touchdown, but it's a big play against cover two. Now, if they run stock cover two, like the stockist of cover twos, with the mid read, I want to show you what the mid read does on this play. You're going to see that he actually gives the slot receiver up. Now, the one thing is, because we're using a slot streak and we're not using a slot seam route, the slot is going to be a little harder to hit against cover two, but you just basically freeform it to the inside once you see that cover two, and you can pop cover two as well within this for a one play touchdown, which is really, really good against cover three, cover four, and things like that. So to me, that is a really, really important route within this offense. Other plays we really didn't have a ton of time to go over is this play stack or scat. This play is really good, and this is a way that we can kind of, I guess, build off of the motion. So if we want to motion this play, what I think makes this play really, really good and where it's at its best is this stem down corner. You're going to streak the tight end, and then what I like to do on this backside here, a couple different things that you can do. I think it makes the most sense to have like a drag route and honestly like a curl. The reason I like the curl is because it's going to kind of push some zones back and you're going to snap it right about there anyway. But really the route we're looking for is that stem down corner on the right side. That is a really, really good route. And what that's going to do is that's going to force them to cover two that side when we do this motion. They really can't defend it in anything but a cover two. And I think that's another reason why I love this formation. But you see here, then you have this kind of curl sitting in this little spot, and I think it's really, really good. And then if they don't hard flats, let's say they're running like a, like a cover three or cover four on the right hand side here, then what you're going to see is that this running back route is really good against that. So you'll see right here, the curl flat will go inside to the middle, and then you can hit this running back route for easy, easy yardage against the defense that way as well. So this is a really, really good play just because that stem down corner is super good. It's super good against cover. It's super good against really anything. If they run cover two, the other thing I forgot to mention is if they run cover two, this corner, you might think, okay, that's going to be covered. Well, what happens is that the corner route you see here, it's outside of the cloud, as you see right there consistently. Now, one big tip that I forgot to mention for this corner route is make sure that when you do your stem on these short corners, this is actually a super important tip. You want to put the stem, you want to stem it down with the left joystick as opposed to the left D-pad. So you see I'm going to stem him all the way down, and I'm using the left joystick to do that. And you'll see that he'll run a little bit better. He'll run a little quicker here, gets that super quick speed burst, and that is just a power route in this game. So you have that. You also have within this what I think is a super important play, and I would just come out of this play every now and then. I do think this is an important play. However, the one thing I would say is with this play, while this play is super important, you can't call it like you can't overdo it because there is a tell. You'll see it's called motion empty smash post. If I come out in this play, this receiver is closer to the line. So like if I run scat, you see he's at the numbers, but if I run this play, he's slightly inside the numbers. That's not ideal, but it does have such a powerful route that we need to go over it. And that is the power route we have that corner route. So we're just going to stem that corner down. Again, use the left joystick to do that. Stem him all the way down like so. On the right side, could do whatever you want. What I like to do is I really like a drag, and then honestly from there, I don't really care. Like one thing you could do is use a post, so you could pop cover two. One thing you could do is a return route in a post. You could do an in route in a post. I mean, there's all kinds of things. But basically, the main read on the play is this corner you're going to see. He gets outside leverage really quickly. It's very difficult to defend that, and especially difficult to defend that in a nickel formation. It is very, very difficult to defend that route in a nickel formation. If you want to, you can also put the running back on a streak, and you could run a play like this, for example. Do something like that. But basically here, again, here's cover two. Notice it gets outside of the cloud. So what do they realistically have to do? They have to go to cover two and they have to shade underneath. This is a play that they need to respect in your offense, but it's also a play that if you show it too many times, you can actually have problems because they're starting to realize that it's a slightly different formation. So just keep that in mind. But I do love that play. Now another play that we really haven't talked a lot about that is actually a new play that they added into this formation is this play motion corners. I think this play is really good, and there's a couple ways that I like to run it. So the first way that I like to run this play is actually kind of like what I call like a super clear outs. So what I like to do is I'm going to slot fade the slot receiver. I'm going to streak the tight end. So you see here we're really clearing out that space on the left or on the right, and then on the left side here could do a couple different things. In my opinion, I actually really like the Texas route on this play. So I think you just basically run it like this. With the left side guy, you could do a lot of things here, but really the main concept is you're going to see that the circle receiver he's going to delay for a second and then he's going to run his route. What that does by using the slot fade and the streak on that side is it gives time to be able to really clear out those defenses. So it's really good for the red zone as well. Now in the red zone, I would probably do something a little bit different than what I'm doing here. But you'll see, look how that yellow gets cleared out by that vert hook or by that seam streak, and then you're able to throw this consistently. Another way in which you could practically run this play is you could run it like this, where we actually leave this motion to the tight end. We have a clear out streak here. This is pretty specific. You want to run this against cover three hard flat. You really don't want to run it against anything else. Cover three hard flat, cover four hard flat. You don't want to run it against like curl flat zones. But the beauty of this is if I have like a backside drag, for example, we're going to be in a fairly decent spot. I'm going to put a table around here, and you're going to see that this motion corner actually does pretty good. He'll actually run a nice corner route that really attacks kind of that left sideline. I don't run that a lot, but it is something that you have within this. Another really fun route combo, especially for cover two, is is we're going to take this slot receiver here and we're going to put him on that slot fade, and then we're going to put the tight end corner out there as well, so it looks like that on that right hand side. What that does is you're going to see it's going to really clear out those yellows, and again, you can just throw that underneath again and again and again. Super good route, in my opinion, out of that motion corners play. We haven't even touched on tight end whip. Why I like tight end whip is because it used to be for the zig. While this zig is really good, it's a little bit different than a hot routed zig, just slightly. The beauty of this play is really in this route to the outside receiver. So let's say they're running a lot of cover for a hard flat. What I like to do on this play is just streak this left side receiver, and then really you can do whatever you want with the running back. You put him on a route or you can block him either way. But we have a two-man combo here to the left with the zig and then that route, and then this post gets wide open underneath of that cover four into kind of a nice spot against different types of zones. This is also one of my favorite plays against man coverage because tight end whip is good against man coverage because of the tight end zig, the out route, and then this post. On the left hand side, what I would probably do is, even just a basic, slot fade. This right here is not a bad idea. Something like that, just clear space for your main route. But you see there that tight end zig is going to be good. If you wanted to make this play a little better against man coverage specifically, what I would do is drag my slot receiver, fade my outside receiver, and wheel my running back. So it looks like this. And the reason I like this is because that little drag is really good at getting separation against man coverage. Another way you could run it is you could drag return route. You could run it like this where you do a drag and a whip. But the reason I like the tight end on the whip is because the tight end is unbumpable. And so he's going to do a little better job at getting separation against the main coverage. So you see here, actually that time didn't get that separation, but then that short post was able to get that separation over there on the right hand side. So anyway, those are some of my favorite plays against man coverage out of this. I'm trying to think if there's any other plays I wanted to cover. Again, there's a lot more content like this in our school community. If you're not a member, that link is going to be in the description. I do feel like this is kind of the mainstay stuff that you need to know if you're going to be running U trips. The only thing I wanted to suggest is really just one other route that I do think needs to be just at least touched on, and that's the double ends play. So the thing about this double ends play is it's not like an amazing play as you see here. Like the routes aren't crazy good, but what is really good is this running back route. This running back route is a really really good route, specifically if you're struggling to beat man coverage. What I like to do here is I like to have that zig. I like to have a short cross. And then on the left side here, I'll just put this guy on a hot routed post or a hot routed crosser, and then I'll have a fade like that. And the reason I like this play is because this running back route is going to just cook his man every single time, and he is going to consistently be able to break down man coverage. And then your short cross route here is also a pretty decent route. You'll see he'll get that nice separation, and it'll actually space out pretty well and pretty appropriately with the running back route. So you'll see I'm going to put that short cross out there. So if I'm ever like really getting like really struggling beating man coverage, I would put something like this on the field, just because the running back route's so dang consistent, and then your short cross is actually a pretty consistent man beater as well within the play. Now, as far as red zone goes, generally speaking, I want to just be running the ball in the red zone. I don't necessarily feel like you need to be passing a ton this year. However, you do have that play motion corners that I do think is a really really good red zone play. And really, the main red zone defense that you need to be ready for is a cover two. So what I'm going to do is come out in the play motion corners, and again, we're primarily focusing on the fact that we have this really unique route to the circle receiver. So what I like to do here is in a couple different ways you can do it in the red zone. But I think what makes the most amount of sense is to take this slot receiver and put him on like a drag so that the yellow zones will snap to him. And then I want my tight end to kind of clear some space in the back so it looks something like that. Now, on the left hand side, whatever you want to do. If it's just a simple flat and streak, it's probably going to be fine. Okay. What we're really looking for here is you see how the yellow's kind of sucked in, and then we're able to throw that route to the outside. Now, another way that you can accomplish really the same thing is flatting this outside or the slot receiver. Another way you could get to it is just corner route, stem him all the way down, and then have your tight end on like anything over the middle. So in this example, we use a crosser, and then what you're able to do on this backside is use a hitch or a curl and stem the curl all the way down like this. And I know this play looks a little weird, but it's actually really good in the red zone because what you're going to see is number one, you have your money route over here to the right side, which they're going to have to use her. They're going to have to man up. You can't defend that route really in zone very, very well. So you have that route. But then the other thing that you have is this little hitch on the left side. And what that's going to do is it's going to hold a cloud flat to him, and the crosser gets open on the back end as well. Now, the other thing that you have is, let's say you're playing somebody that believes that you should be running man coverage down here. You have your Texas route that gets a nice sharp cut over the middle for a really good and easy way to score as well right there. And then, again, like I just love this tight end cross route. Like I just think this is a really, really good red zone play that you have in this formation. But this route right here is just absolute money. It's just lethal. It's hard to guard it. The yellows get sucked inside this year a lot more than they did in previous years. And this is just truly, I think, the best way to score in the red zone. Another good way to score in the red zone, if you want it, is out of tight end whip. What you're going to do is you're going to slant your tight end. You're going to table route your running back. You're going to flat this outside guy, and you're going to in route right here. Now, the reason this is good is because you're kind of, it's essentially doing the same basic idea, but it's just doing it from a different look and a different side. So this is more of a trips tight end combo. But what this does in terms of like how does it actually work in the red zone is, let's say they're starting to run a lot more cover 3, cover 4 coverages because of what you're hitting. Now you're going to see here that little in route gets into that soft spot. So you're able to just attack the defense in a variety of different ways from this formation. And then, oh, by the way, we haven't even gotten into all of the audibles that we can do, all the audibling around, audibling down, getting into run-based formations. This offense is lethal in this game, and this is the Y off trips close, and there's so many ways to run it. One thing we forgot to mention at all here is another thing you have tight end whip. And so what you can do with tight end whip is you can kind of build around this zig route right here. So what I would do is flat this outside receiver, and then I have my zig, and then really on the backside can kind of do whatever. I honestly think just a speed out and a speed or a wheel is perfectly fine. But watch this tight end route kind of get into a super soft spot of the defense right there. If they, because the reason you would actually practically use this is, let's say they started shading out, or let's say they took this player and they started manning him up on circle. That will happen if they're playing a high level player. They will 100% do that. And so if they're doing that, let's say this guy's on a hook, then what you're going to see is now the tight end can out leverage them to the zig. So it's just a really nice way to be able to attack a variety of different coverages just with dotting in here in the red zone. And I think it's a super good offense. So that is the Y Off Trips close offense. If you guys want to check out the rest of the stuff, get in our school community. It's $10. It gets you access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks.